Welcome back. This is Janine with Quest for You, episode 18. And I'm super glad you're here because we're going to talk about a topic that I think affects a lot of people, and that is worry. Too often we spend our limited time worrying about how future events will turn out or past events will affect us. We worry a lot. And sometimes we worry just for worrying's sake. To me, worry is an excuse. It's an excuse we come up with so we can hide. Maybe because we don't know what to do or don't want to do anything about the situation. So we just decide to worry. We somehow think by worrying we give the proper attention to the situation. It's on our mind, and maybe by worrying it will resolve itself. So worrying, to me, can also lead to laziness. Instead of doing anything, we just get mired and lost in worry. Okay, I get it. I realize we live in a constant uncertainty, and that can contribute to an increase in worry. We don't know if we're going to be able to save enough money for retirement, if we will get a job after college, if the relationship that we're in will work out, or if we can pay the mortgage we just took out for the next 30 years. Most of the decisions we make today will not reveal an outcome until many years from now, so it's quite understandable. In absence of knowing what will happen, we allow our mind to fill in the blanks. And often, we are so uncertain that instead of being hopeful, we decide to worry. We all experience pain and setback and opposition in our lives. And that is part of life, but it is not life itself. But some of us make the setback their life. They cannot seem to move past it. It determines their entire existence, and they hang on to it. And why? Why do they do that? Because it's easy. It's easy to judge the rest of your life by this one setback. We think that this is the way it will always be. One failed relationship, oh well, I guess I will not have luck with partners. Fired from a job, oh well, I guess I'm worthless and I can't hold a job down. A bad grade in math, oh well, I'm just not good in math and I will always struggle with this class. It's all we know, so it's easy to apply this limited knowledge to the next situation and the one after that. It's the easiest route. It doesn't require any effort. But I'm telling you today, don't make a judgment based on a moment. Where you're now is not a final destination. Life is a path, and that path is not always paved or free of obstacles. So I suggest to you, don't expect it to be this way. Life has ups and downs, so you may as well be ready for them and prepare. It's easy to live life worrying, but it's much harder to become resourceful, creative, and flexible. That requires thought. It requires preparation, and most of all, it requires action. I could read you many stories from famous people that once lived in despair and without hope for the future. But they all had a glimmer of hope and acted on that hope, thereby turning their life around. I thought about looking for a story like that and reading it to you, but instead I'm going to ask you for that story. Because if you examine your life so far, I bet you can find a story like that in your own life, where you overcame an obstacle that you thought you never could move through, where you worried and in the end, you realized that all the worrying is for nothing. The obstacle went away, the situation turned around, you moved right through it. I have plenty of examples like that. And I bet you do too. So if you stop worrying now, in the midst of the problem, mired in worry and self-doubt, the thing is you will never see the potential you could reach. And believe me, I know hardship, I know difficulty, and so do most of you. And I know it can get dark out there, and simply, we don't think that there is a light switch. We don't think there's a way to move on. It's all over. We resign to the situation. And most of the time, I think we get pulled out. Maybe by friends or family, maybe by our own strength. But I also know people that don't get past it. They live with it, they somehow resign, and they make worrying part of their life. But I'm coming back to my first point, that worry is an excuse for not taking action. And on top of that, I believe that worry is a complete waste of time. So you see, worry lives in the past and in the future. Let me ask you, what can you do about your past? Not much, I would say. The past is over. And the future? Well, it's unknown. As much as you try to control it by planning ahead, you cannot predict it. So worry prevents you from living in the present. And when the worry is taking you out of the present, you need to find a way back to yourself. You need to come back to what I call home base, the present moment. And meditation is a great tool for that. We had an episode on that, and I will talk more about meditation in future episodes. Meditation grounds you back into the present moment. You become still and realize your place in this present moment. It's a place where you can listen again. So here are my antidotes to worry. There are 3 steps that I would suggest for you that will help you get out of worry and get into action. Step 1, stop and listen. You incurred a setback, you suffered pain, or you had a bad experience. So go through your pain, feel it, and let it take its course. It's all part of the process. Mourn, cry, do what you need to do, and whatever gives you relief. But at the same time, be open and listen. Don't close yourself off to the world. Name your worry. Be clear what it is and what you're worried about. And be realistic. Don't single yourself out by thinking that this only happens to you. That's not the case. Everybody goes through hardship. And don't judge yourself, your life, or others. Pain is simply part of life, and you need to accept that. Step 2 is make a plan. Let worry and pain be. It will take its course in the time it needs. But start thinking of what's next. Ask yourself, what lesson is in this for me? There's always a lesson. Always. There's always something we can learn in every difficult situation. And sometimes you have to search for it. This may not become clear to you right away, but it's a starting point for your plan. I strongly believe there's always something positive in every stumbling block. It can be small or it can be groundbreaking and eye-opening. So start small. You may not feel like anything grand at the moment, but you can take small steps. It's like taking a sweet pill or a piece of candy to ease the bitterness for a few moments. Like going for a walk, meditation, taking a bath, or visiting a friend you haven't seen in a long time. Start easy, and then move forward with a plan. This can take different forms. 1, prepare. And I think this step is for those of you who are worried about the future. If you're worried about losing your job, prepare now. Start looking for jobs. Add to your skill set by taking a class, or find a way to add value at work right now that would prevent you from losing your job. There are many options. Pick one. Prepare and take action for the things that you are concerned about that lie ahead. Worrying alone without action is an excuse for doing nothing. And 2, prevent. If the past was dark for you, then preventing is your step. You will need to put your attention towards avoiding darkness in the future. This involves some soul searching and analysis of what went wrong. If your relationships always end in disaster, then it's time to figure out why. Seek help, or analyze the situations and look for missing links. I also call this step digging. So, prepare if you're worried about the future, and prevent if something happened in the past that you still worry about. And the last of the 3 steps is to take action. You will hear me say this over and over again. Without moving forward, you will never find out the amazing things that lie ahead. You need to move. Look at your plan and turn it into action. See that counselor. Sign up for that language course. Join a volunteer group. Read books on topics that frighten you and learn. Do something, no matter how small it is. In action lies opportunity. With action, you open doors. I say it again. Worry is a waste of time. It has no end point. It doesn't accomplish anything. Yet action brings opportunities, new people, another chance. So, my hope is that these steps help you shift your worry into perspective. That you can see better now how you can reduce some of the uncertainties and the stress that is inherent in today's world. And lastly, my hope is that you see clearer now that you don't have to accept worry as part of your life, nor should you consciously decide to worry, because it will not take you forward. It's a dead end. You can move beyond worry and you can come out better, stronger, and more successful. And I leave you with that today, and I'll see you soon on another episode of Quest for You. Signing off. Much love.